An Atlanta News First investigation exposes the unthinkable. Georgia foster children forced to sleep in unlivable conditions, some also exposed to violence, abuse, and drugs. Tonight, for the very first time, we are hearing from one of those kids.
Plus, leaders who now call the conditions deplorable said that they only learned of the problem after our reporting. Investigative reporter Sierra Cummings continues to uncover the troubling disparities in Georgia's foster care practices.
I spent some time with my family.
At a Decatur Park, in the cold and rain, it's the most comfortable Christian Hall has ever felt.
So I would definitely say it's a lot better because of the freedom.
Turning 18 just weeks ago, he's now aging out of Georgia's foster care. Christian considers it a legal system that failed him, but he's resolving it in his own way.
I want to become a lawyer. I want to practice civil rights.
This after he claims his own attorneys did not grasp the chaos from moving to foster home to one day this year, somewhere truly unexpected. This Department of Family and Children's Services office is where he was living.
It didn't make sense to me why this was happening to me. When I came in, I saw a lot of blankets on the floor, a lot of things on the floor. There was not a lot of food in there.
DFCS, the agency tasked with protecting kids, housed foster youth in its county offices for months on end.
We're staying here because they don't have nowhere for us to go, so we're living here.
Where reports reveal violence and drugs. The practice we uncovered, called office hoteling, spanning across last year and the first half of this year, meant on average in Fulton, teens lived in offices for 16 days. In DeKalb, 12 days.
I had felt like, it was over for me.
No bed, no safe conditions, state inspectors say. The cycle stems from juvenile courtrooms where kids with behavioral issues due to mental, emotional, or sexual trauma go before a judge who is faced with two options: send them to a detention facility or DFCS custody. Judges often choose DFCS custody. DFCS caseloads rise while foster home options decline.
This whole situation is just
Fulton County Chief Juvenile Judge Juliet Scales watching our investigation.
Prior to the news coverage, our news coverage, did you know about the conditions?
No, I had not seen the conditions at all. The conditions that the children are living in is just deplorable in the office. It's certainly not suitable for children.
Despite now knowing, Scales says her hands are tied, that the law only allows the courts to decide in favor or against DFCS custody, arguing upon granted custody, the responsibility is then on DFCS to actually choose the child's placement.
So how long is too long living in an office?
Well, I think any day is too long, quite frankly. Without that funding, without those resources, it will happen again. It will continue to happen.
Data obtained by Atlanta News First exposes glaring disparities. Although Black residents only make up roughly half the population in Fulton and DeKalb, foster care for the two counties is 90% Black children. Similarly, Black foster kids were the largest group living in area offices. Offices not at all designed for living.
An emergency placement should not be a hotel or office. We deserve to be listened to. Our concerns, are valid, and they are important because we are in the system. We are living this.
Let's bring in Sierra Cummings now live from the Georgia State Capitol. And Sierra, now that stakeholders and the community leaders are aware of this issue that you've exposed, what is the solution?
We've dedicated many months to understanding the complexities of DFCS. Turns out this is a legislative issue, so legislative action is required to see some funding that would create facilities to house foster youth in the event of an emergency, in the event that there are not enough foster homes. So we're going to continue to have these conversations with our lawmakers, continue to hold them accountable come the next legislative session. In Atlanta, I'm Sierra Cummings, Atlanta News First.
All right, Sierra.